What if I told you that procrastination is not about being lazy at all, but actually your brain trying to protect you? Every time you delay something important, it's not because you don't care. It's because something deeper inside you is pulling the brakes. Think about the last time you avoided a task you knew you should do. Maybe studying, working, or even replying to a message. You didn't just randomly decide to be lazy. Something inside you felt uncomfortable, and you chose relief over pressure. Your brain is not your enemy. It's designed to keep you safe, even if that safety holds you back. When a task feels stressful, overwhelming, or uncertain, your brain treats it like a threat, and its job is to move you away from that feeling. That's why instead of starting your work, you suddenly feel like checking your phone, watching a video, or doing anything else. It's not a coincidence. It's your brain choosing short-term comfort over long-term growth. Before we go deeper, if you want to understand how your mind actually works and learn simple ways to take control of it, make sure you like this video and subscribe to This channel is all about decoding your brain in a way that actually helps you change your life. Now here's the part most people don't realize. Procrastination is driven by emotions, not time management. You're not delaying the task. You're avoiding the feeling that comes with it. Maybe it's fear of failure. Maybe it's self-doubt. Or maybe it's the pressure of doing something perfectly. Whatever it is, your brain sees that feeling and says, let's get out of here. So instead of facing that discomfort, you escape into something easier and more enjoyable. That's why scrolling social media or watching random videos feels so attractive. In that moment, this is where dopamine comes in, the chemical in your brain that makes you feel good. Every time you choose a quick distraction, your brain rewards you with a small hit of pleasure. Over time, your brain starts learning a dangerous pattern. It realizes that avoiding hard tasks leads to instant rewards. And suddenly, procrastination becomes your default behavior. The more you repeat this cycle, the stronger it gets. It's like training your brain to run away every time things get difficult. But here's the truth. Those distractions don't actually make you feel better in the long run. After the temporary relief fades, you're left with guilt, stress, and even more pressure than before. That's why procrastination feels like a trap. You avoid the task to feel better, but you end up feeling worse. And the worst part is, the longer you wait, the bigger the task feels in your mind. Something that could have taken 20 minutes now feels like a mountain you can't climb. Your brain exaggerates the difficulty because it hasn't experienced the task yet. It fills in the gaps with fear and uncertainty, making it seem much worse than it actually is. This is why starting feels so hard. Not because the task is impossible, but because your brain has turned it into something scary. But here's something powerful you need to understand. Your brain changes its reaction the moment you take action. The fear doesn't disappear before you start, it disappears after you start. That means waiting to feel ready is a trap. You will never feel ready, because your brain is designed to resist discomfort. So if procrastination isn't laziness, and it's not really about time, then what can you actually do about it? The answer is surprisingly simple, but most people ignore it because it sounds too easy to work. It's called the 5-minute rule. And no, it's not some motivational trick. It's based on how your brain actually works. Here's how it works. You tell yourself that you're only going to do the task for 5 minutes. Not an hour, not until it's done. Just 5 minutes. This removes the pressure completely. Your brain no longer sees it as a big, scary commitment. It just sees a small, manageable action. And because the task feels smaller, the resistance drops. You're no longer trying to climb a mountain. You're just taking one step. Once you start, something interesting happens. Your brain shifts from avoidance mode to engagement mode. The same task that felt impossible suddenly feels doable. And most of the time, those 5 minutes turn into 10, 20, or even an hour without you realizing it. This is because starting breaks the fear cycle. It proves to your brain that the task is not as dangerous as it thought. But even if you stop after 5 minutes, you still win. Because you trained your brain to take action instead of running away. And that's how real change happens. Not by forcing yourself to do everything at once, but by slowly rewiring how your brain responds to discomfort. Most people try to beat procrastination with motivation, but motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes depending on how you feel. What actually works is reducing resistance and making action easier. That's why the 5-minute rule is so powerful. It works even when you don't feel like doing anything. And the more you use it, the easier it gets, because your brain starts learning a new pattern, action instead of avoidance. Now here's where things get even more interesting. Because understanding procrastination is one thing, but breaking it consistently is something else. If you really want to take control, you have to start working with your brain, not against it. One powerful shift you can make is changing how you see the task itself. Right now, your brain labels certain tasks as painful or stressful, and that label is what triggers avoidance. So instead of thinking, I have to do this, try shifting it to, I'm just going to explore this for a few minutes. This small change removes pressure and makes the task feel less threatening. Another reason you procrastinate is because your brain craves clarity. When a task feels vague or undefined, your mind doesn't know where to start, so it chooses to avoid it completely. That's why breaking tasks into very small, clear steps works so well. Not finish the project, but open the document or write the first sentence. When the next step is obvious, your brain doesn't need to think too much, and less thinking means less resistance. There's also something called emotional forecasting, where your brain predicts how difficult or uncomfortable something will be. The problem is, your brain is usually wrong. It overestimates the pain and underestimates your ability to handle it. That's why tasks feel heavier before you start and lighter once you're already in motion. So the next time you feel like avoiding something, remind yourself that your brain is guessing, not telling the truth. You don't need to trust that feeling. You just need to test it by taking a small action. Now, let's talk about your environment, because it plays a bigger role than you think. If distractions are always around you, your brain will naturally choose them. You don't need more discipline. You need fewer temptations. Move your phone away, close unnecessary tabs, or create a space where the easiest thing to do is the task itself. This is called reducing friction, and it makes a huge difference. When distractions are harder to reach and your work is easier to start, your behavior changes automatically. Another powerful trick is using what's called identity-based action. Instead of focusing on what you need to do, focus on who you want to become. For example, instead of saying I need to study, say I am someone who shows up and studies, even when it's hard. This creates a stronger internal drive because it connects your actions to your identity. Every small action you take becomes proof of that identity, and over time, your brain starts accepting it as who you are. But here's something you need to be careful about: perfectionism. A lot of procrastination is actually hidden perfectionism. You delay starting because you want things to be perfect, or you're afraid they won't be good enough. So, instead of risking failure, you avoid the task completely. The solution is simple, but not easy. Give yourself permission to do things badly. Your first attempt doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to exist. Because you can't improve something that doesn't exist. When you lower the standard for starting, you remove one of the biggest mental barriers. And once you're in motion, improvement happens naturally. Now think about this. What if procrastination isn't something you need to eliminate completely? What if it's actually a signal that something feels too big, too unclear, or too emotionally heavy? Instead of fighting it, you can use it as feedback. Ask yourself, what exactly am I avoiding right now? Is it confusion, fear, boredom, or pressure? Once you identify the real reason, you can respond to it directly. If it's confusion, break it down. If it's fear, start small. If it's boredom, make it more engaging. This approach gives you control because you're no longer reacting blindly. You're understanding the root cause and adjusting your strategy. And over time, this awareness becomes your biggest advantage, because most people stay stuck in the cycle without ever questioning it. Now imagine if every time you felt like procrastinating, instead of escaping, you paused and took one small step. That alone would completely change your results. Because success is not about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up consistently, even in small ways. And the truth is, you don't need to fix your whole life overnight. You just need to win the next 5 minutes. So the next time you catch yourself delaying something important, don't judge yourself. Just remember what's really happening. Your brain is trying to protect you, but you don't need that protection right now. You're capable of handling discomfort, one step at a time. Start small, stay consistent, and let action build momentum. That's how you break the cycle. If this made you see procrastination differently, drop a comment and tell me what task you've been avoiding the most. I've read every comment, and it might even help someone else realize they're not alone. And if you know someone who struggles with procrastination, share this video with them. You never know. It might be exactly what they need to hear today. For more simple and powerful ways to understand your mind and take control of your habits, Stay connected with Brain.